guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Today, today we've received news of all the champions coming in the big champion rebalancing that Plarium has been kind of teasing to us for a while now in the game. And suffice it to say, whether it be on other YouTube channels, in the Discord server, or on Reddit, people are talking right now. A lot of people with some very strong opinions because a lot of the big names in terms of the very, very strong champions, some surprise champions, and also some very weak champions are on this list. This list includes, guys, all of the champions that are receiving either a buff or a nerf. We'll be getting more information regarding, what those balance changes will be. But let's go ahead and quickly go through the list here, and then we'll talk more specifically about what people are so mad about and what people are happy about. Notably, some names, just gonna say it ahead of the time here, notably some names are missing here, and notably people are very upset over a few of the names. Again, we'll get to that in just a moment, but Drexstar, I assume, is getting a pretty decent buff, which is good news because he's available for purchase in the shop. Rotos and Sify are getting a nerf, Tormund getting probably a rework slash maybe a nerf, Duchess getting a nerf, Madame Saris getting a nerf. Oh no, man, that's the first one that really hurts, even though I own some of the other champions. That's the first one that I'm like, no, don't nerf my Madame Saris. Coronar, I'm assuming, is getting a small nerf. Blind Seer getting a buff. Warlord buff. Krutraxa is a weird one. I think she's really good. Maybe a rework or a buff, maybe, because I'm sure, I don't know. Gurgo, a buff. Hakorn, a buff. Dracomorph, nerf. Gurgtuk, buff. Abyss, or Abyss is a buff. Bellinor, buff. Astrolift, buff. Norog, a buff, I guess. All very good, underrated champion, though. Bystophis, always have a problem with his name and the next guy. Candrafon, I guess when champions suck enough, you don't say their name enough here on the channel, right? All of these guys getting a buff, I assume. Canoness, Hope, Rowan, Snorting Thug, Taurus, Sawai, Maeve. These are all the bad epics, so these are all going to be buffs from here on out, guys. So I want to talk about some of those epics and kind of look at their kits and talk about how they might be buffing them. But first, let's start with the legendaries, guys. So why are people upset? Let's talk about the good and the bad in today's video, trying to give a balanced approach and kind of cover every angle of this these balance changes. So number one, people are upset because rightfully so, myself included, if they go too hard on any of these nerfs, okay? I think that a lot of us, most of us, if we're not reacting incredibly emotionally, can agree that, for example, Sify needs a nerf, right? If you can't agree that Sify needs a nerf, you're probably just biased and a Sify owner. Probably, right? Because she's head and shoulders pretty much the best champion in the game. Just insane compared. And there's the power creep where you have a bunch of champions like Sify that are introduced to the game, and it makes other champions that were previously pretty solid kind of overshadowed by that champion. So I think that she needs a nerf. I'm okay with that. But if they go too hard, and that's a big if, we don't know yet. But think about Dracomorph. He's a perfect example. Probably have him on the thumbnail of today's video. Think about it, right? They had the 10 times event, and that's where it gets kind of not too fun, right? And this is the negative criticism here. Don't even know what it is, what this nerf is going to be to Dracomorph. But they had the 10 times event. We, people like myself included, spent money to try to summon him, knowing even Plarium said, one of the best champions in the entire game. He's up for grabs. Surprise, he's going to be nerfed to oblivion next month. I'm not that cynical to think that was the, and most of these are buffs, but the vast majority of this, but Duchess was the same thing. There was a Duchess pull event as well. There was a few in here, okay? So that's the downside, right? Is that, we spent a lot of money to get these best champions in the game only to have them nerfed. That does not feel right. But at the end of the day, I hope that the buffs can kind of offset that. I do have a couple of the champions that look to be getting a buff as well. I have Blind Seer, I have Gurgtuk, I have Hakorn, Smash Lord. So, maybe it will all even out. Maybe they'll get really nice buffs. But of course, that doesn't answer, or that doesn't kind of alleviate the concerns of somebody who only has one of these champions and it gets a big nerf. That's it. Congratulations. You're not happy about it. I understand, right? Not only that is, I'm going to throw something out there, guys. I don't think Plarium will do it, But Plarium, if you're watching, and I will provide this feedback as well to Plarium directly, but you know it would go a long, long way into making all of this easier for everybody is if they nerf a champion, refund the books. Take the books, the legendary books, right out of that champion. If you want to use them again on that champion, go for it. If you don't, if you go, wow, you nerfed it way too hard, at least it would be a huge gesture on Plarium's part to refund those books. And again, you want to reinvest them, go for it. But you have the option of pulling those legendary books out, because let's face it, that is hundreds of dollars of investment, is probably the biggest investment in legendary champions specifically, but I do feel the same way about epic champions. What do you guys think about that? Would that alleviate some of your concerns over your favorite champion perhaps getting a big nerf, or a nerf in general? So we'll see. I'm not going to overreact just yet. You know, there's no reason to, because we don't know the information yet. They said that will be coming very soon in a press release. So the good news is a lot of these champions did need a buff, a lot of these, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who are, you know, mixed emotions or even happy watching this video and seeing this list saying, heck, I own a lot of these champions. It'd be really cool if they were actually useful in the game. And a lot of these epics are just the worst of the worst. So I'm very glad and interested to see what they do to some of these epic champions, you know? I think that Maeve is probably the worst epic in the game. I don't know. I feel like she is, at least. And it'll just be fun to see kind of what direction they go with. Rowan, I thought, was a pretty underrated, solid champion to begin with. So what are they going to do with her? Same thing with Alika. I think that she was pretty, you know, average / maybe a little bit above average for an epic champion. Not everybody can be the best champion in the game, you know? So that's kind of how I feel. I'm glad to see Gerptuck on there. I'm interested to see what they do with him. Blind Seer, I already think, is actually a really solid champion. Let me show you just really quickly my Blind Seer, because I just built her out. But a pretty cool kit, right? I mean, but this is a champion who, another perfect example, is overshadowed by Siphi. Siphi's just better. I have no reason to ever use Blind Seer. Has a shield buff and a block debuffs on all allies for 2 turns, and then she has self-sacrifice, revives all dead allies with 35% HP, and she takes damage. Okay, maybe I do have a reason to use her, but, you know, I think that overall, she's good. Siphi's just better, you know? So, and Drexstar, we know, is going to be getting a buff. The other negative thing I will say about this list is, man, a couple champions, you guys know when I did a full guide and review on Growhawk the Bloodied, I think that the video is titled like Maxing the Worst Champion in the Game, because he is, you know, on every tier list, on in-game ratings, on other YouTube videos, on Reddit. Everybody mentions Growhawk as one of the worst champions in the game. I was actually, my expectations were set so low on this champion that I was kind of pleasantly surprised. You can go watch that video and I was like, wow, he's hitting for, like, you know, a lot. You know, decent multipliers on the Unbound Anger too. I didn't even fully book him out. So I can see that Growhawk, I don't think he's the worst legendary in the game, but I'm surprised. I'm very surprised they're not touching this dude. I think that he definitely deserves a buff, even though I don't think he's, you know, the worst of the worst. His speed in dungeons by 24%. So Growhawk the Bloody in Tila is another champion. I don't have her, so let's take a look at the index. I want to talk about the big snubs here, right? She's Barbarian, right? Nope, my bad. She's Orc, right? Tila, there she is, my bad. Tila Gormain, dude, she's really bad, I feel like, you know? And for her not to be on this list, dude, what's up with that? A 1 enemy on a 4 turn with HP burn? AoE on a 4 turn with leech and heal reduction? That's it? With pretty crappy multipliers in her kit? Dude, not feeling that. And one other snub here, guys, a champion that I own that, man, I would have loved to see them buff, because I'm not using this dude ever. Not Black Knight. Where is he? He's Void. Oh, I didn't even build him out. That's why I don't use him there, Ash. That's why. You know, Killian would have been really cool to see a buff to a champion that was once a fusion, which a lot of people have. I think he's still a solid champ, I guess, but, you know, would have liked to see a little buff on his kit. Abyss, we know, is getting a buff. That's really cool to see. I can't wait to see what they do with her. She has an AoE that's based on whatever's higher, the champion you're attacking's attack, defense, or attack. So that's pretty cool. Or this champion or the target's damage. So what are they going to do to her kit to make it even better is the question. Time will tell on that. But the big snub, guys, is Baron, man. Baron. Void Affinity champion, right? Void Affinity Bannerlord, but he's just not that good, man. All of his skills have a chance to unlock Skypiercer, his big money skill, right? So attack one enemy, attack one enemy, attack one enemy, blah, 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 and then has a 40% chance to unlock the secret skill Skypiercer. So his only good skill, really, his only legendary skill is Skypiercer. But it's so RNG based, it sucks, right? You need to either maybe nerf this ability a little bit in terms of the damage multipliers, or in terms of, deals pure damage. Maybe it's ignore 50% of defense instead, or something like that. And make it on like a 5-turn cooldown. That way you can use it as an opening move. That makes him instantly viable in the arena at least. There's so many ways to fix this champion Baron, but he's not that viable at all right now. Unless you're a free-to-play who just totally lucks out in a Void Shard and you pull a Baron. Most people who have him, I'm assuming, are not using him. A bunch of other champions too. Lord Champfort, not on the list. I don't think he was on the list, at least. But yeah, I mean, there's a surprising, some omissions that really surprised me here. Let's take a quick look, guys, at some of the epics real quick before I let you go. And I'm really interested to hear your take on this. Like, what do you think about the champion list in general? Are you happy? Are you sad? Give me your honest opinion, as you always do, in the comments below. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the worst champions, some of those epics, and see maybe what they could do with them. But real quick, Madame Ceres, that's the one that hurts me the most, man. That's the one that hurts me the most. Like, out of everybody on this list, even Dracomorph, even Siphi, that's the one that hurts, because I know they're gonna nerf her. I just hope they don't touch Midnight Ritual. I hope they touch anything else about her. Her passive, her trick or treats. I don't care what you do. Remove True Fear, whatever. But just, man, Midnight Ritual, this ability is so pivotal to everybody who owns her, and maybe that's what makes her so great too, to be fair. But still, man, oof, I hope they don't mess with it. I hope they don't, but we will see. Time will certainly tell on her. Let's just see if we can find a couple of the other champions here. I know, I believe, let's see, I think actually most of them were not. Do we have any? No, I don't think we had any. Towering Titan, no, he wasn't on there either. We had Snorting Thug, we had Rowan. Let's go up a little bit here. Look at Bannerlords and see. Horden could probably use one. I don't know what you guys think about Horden, those of you who pulled him in the fragment summons, but I've never been a huge fan of the champion. I didn't do a video on him for that reason, actually. I have him, but I'm just not a huge fan. He can help out some people who who fragged him, summoned him, or especially free-to-play people out there. So Slash has, this is Rowan. One of the champions who I think was already a decent champion, not one of the best, but certainly not one of the worst. She's really cool. She has her damage is based on attack and speed. She has a heal reduction on the A1. On the A2, 3 times at random has a chance of placing a stun, which is really solid. It'd be cool if that chance was increased even more from 50 or beyond, or make it an AoE and keep it at 50, and that would make her amazing, even on a 4-turn. Then she attacks one enemy 4 times. Each hit has a chance of placing poison on a 4-turn. So 75% chance to when booked. So this could easily be made into an AoE. We'll see what they end up doing to Rowan. Already, again, like, after I read her kit too, a high base attack, very high base speed on this champion too. So her base stats are actually really, really solid, right? So it'll be interesting to see what they do with her. I don't think that she needs a huge buff. Azure is another one, guys, another Void affinity. I like that they're touching the Voids and buffing them. I have to admit, his kit is not super familiar to me. A champion that I don't really look at a lot. Plays a stun if they have an increased speed buff. If they have an increased speed buff, interesting. Has an ally protect on all allies except this champion. Places a shield buff on this champion for equal to 40% of the champion's max HP for 2 turns, and the buff cannot be removed on the Aegis ability on a 4-turn, excuse me, when booked. Interesting that the buff cannot be removed. I like it if it's not a bad ability. Attacks one enemy, places an extra hit if the target has a stun debuff, and this attack is always critical on a 3-turn when booked. Okay, so it could easily just be attack enemy 2 times or something. I think this ability is pretty crappy. Unless it hits very hard, which I'm not very sure about. So this is going to be one of those champions that time will tell what they do to this champion. I'm not impressed by his kit at all. Aegis ability has some potential, so I'm thinking if they buff him enough, with the Aegis ability, kind of as is, that nice ally protect on a 4-turn with the shield based on his max HP. It's not the best, certainly not, or I shouldn't say, certainly not the worst, but not the best champion. Let's take a quick look at one more, guys. I'm not going to do all of these champions because, you know, we'd be here all day, but I saw that Jotun was on there. So Jotun has a very low base speed at 93. He has attack one enemy, decrease defense, the weak version on his A1. If this was a strong version, immediately he'd go to being one of the better clan boss champions in the game if it was the strong version of the decreased defense. I think his place is in clan boss. It's just what can they do to make him way more viable. So 3-turn with HP burn, that's perfect for clan boss as well. And attack one enemy, detargets. Okay, so this one is really trash for clan boss on a 5-turn cooldown, so it's kind of irrelevant. But heck, if they just make this A1 a strong version of decreased defense instead of the weak version, I don't know if they do that necessarily on an epic, on an A1, but if they did that, he would be, you know, instantly way more viable. So that's all I have for you guys today. I mean, we don't have that much, we don't have any information on these actual champions, so I'm not going to spend an entire video kind of conjecturing onto what this could mean and, you know, what champions are the biggest winners and biggest losers. But based on what we know, that kind of gives you an indicator at where kind of the community is right now. I'm very curious about how you guys feel about this whole thing. As I mentioned throughout this video, let me know your thoughts and opinions on any of these champions in the comments below, guys. And if you want to stay tuned for all this information when it comes out, I'll be going over all of the changes in full detail when we get the rest of the information. So be sure to subscribe here to the channel, guys. Have a great day, and as always, take care, guys.